You close the bathroom door. And within seconds, the scratching starts. The meowing starts. The small paw appears under the door. Your cat, who was perfectly asleep on the couch 30 seconds ago, has suddenly decided that this, right now, is an emergency. Why? What is actually happening in your cat's brain when you disappear behind that door? The answer involves territory, trust, anxiety, and something surprisingly touching about how your cat sees you. First, let's be clear about something. Your cat is not doing this to annoy you. She is not doing it out of boredom. She is not doing it because she has no sense of boundaries. She is doing it because several deep, overlapping instincts are all firing at the same time, and every single one of them is telling her the same thing. Get to the other side of that door. To understand why, we need to look at each of those instincts separately. Because what looks like a simple, slightly ridiculous behavior is actually a window into some of the most fundamental parts of your cat's psychology. Let's start with the most basic one. Cats are territorial animals. But here's what most people don't fully understand about cat territory. It's not just about space. It's about knowing what is happening in that space at all times. A cat's territory is something she monitors. Continuously. She knows where every object is. She knows which spots are warm and which are cool. She knows the sounds, the smells, the patterns of movement. And she knows where you are. You are part of her territory, not in a possessive or controlling way, but in a deep, instinctive sense. Your location, your safety, your presence. These are things her nervous system tracks as part of understanding her world. When you go behind a closed door, you have left her territory without warning. You have become unmonitorable. And for a cat whose entire sense of security depends on knowing what is happening in her space, that is genuinely uncomfortable. The scratching and the meowing aren't manipulation. They're her nervous system saying, "I can't locate you. I need to fix that." This one goes even deeper than territory. Cats have a fundamental psychological need for access, not necessarily to use that access, but to know it exists. The ability to move freely through her environment, to enter any space, to investigate any area. This is central to a cat's sense of security. A closed door doesn't just mean you're on the other side. A closed door means there is a space she cannot enter. And for a cat, that is profoundly unsettling. Think about it this way. You know how cats will completely ignore a room for months, and the moment you close the door, suddenly they desperately need to get in. It's the same instinct. It's not about the room. It's not about you specifically. It's about the fact that something is now restricted, and restriction feels like a threat to her control over her environment. The bathroom door triggers this instinct every time, not because there's something special about the bathroom, but because it's a door that closes, and closed means wrong. Here's one that surprises most people. In the wild, cats are both predators and prey. And one of the key survival rules for an animal in that position is this: never be caught unaware in a vulnerable position. When you go to the bathroom, you become, from a cat's perspective, genuinely vulnerable. You're stationary, you're distracted, you're in an enclosed space with limited exit options. Your cat's instincts read this situation and respond to it. Some researchers believe cats follow their owners to the bathroom, partly out of a protective impulse. The same instinct that leads cats to sit with sick or distressed family members. You are vulnerable. She wants to be present. Others suggest it's more self-protective. In the wild, a vulnerable member of the group can attract predators, and being nearby means being ready. Either way, your cat is not mocking you. In her mind, the bathroom is exactly the kind of place where having backup makes sense. Cats are often described as solitary animals, and in many ways they are. But cats who live with humans, particularly cats with strong bonds to their owners, develop genuine social needs that look quite different from their wild counterparts. Your cat has learned to be near you, not just near, attuned. She tracks your movements, your moods, your patterns. She knows the difference between you getting up for water and you leaving for the day. When you disappear into the bathroom, you haven't just moved to another room. You've suddenly become unavailable. The social connection, the low-level background sense of your presence that she carries throughout the day, has been interrupted. And for a cat who has come to rely on that connection, the interruption registers. It creates a small but real gap in her world. And the most natural response to that gap is to try to close it. She's not being needy, she's being bonded. There's a difference. Now, the less poetic reason, the bathroom is, from a cat's perspective, one of the most interesting rooms in the house. Running water, the smell of soap, shampoo, toothpaste, dozens of complex chemical compounds that are wildly stimulating to a nose that is 14 times more sensitive than yours. Warm, humid air, reflective surfaces, small enclosed space with interesting acoustics. And then there's you, producing all kinds of biological information that your cat's nose finds genuinely compelling. Cats communicate heavily through scent, and the bathroom is, bluntly, a place where you produce a lot of scent. Your cat isn't embarrassed by this. She finds it informative. She is learning things about you, your health, your stress levels, what you ate, that her nose can read like a newspaper. So, yes, part of why she wants in is simply because the bathroom, to a cat, is a very interesting place to be. So why is it always the bathroom? Why not the closet? Why not any closed door in the house? Because the bathroom uniquely combines all 5 triggers at once. It's a room you enter regularly, on a predictable schedule. It's a room with a door that closes every time. It's a room where you are stationary and slightly vulnerable. It's a room full of interesting smells. And it's a room where you disappear just long enough for her to notice, but not so long that she gives up and goes back to sleep. The bathroom is basically a perfect storm of every instinct that makes your cat want to find you. And once she figures out that scratching and meowing gets the door open, well, you've taught her that the system works. If you'd prefer a little privacy, there are a few things that actually help. Don't react to the scratching or meowing. Any response, even a frustrated one, teaches her that making noise opens the door. Silence is the only message she'll eventually understand. Create a positive association with the closed door. Before you go in, give her something engaging, a treat, a toy, a puzzle feeder. She's less likely to fixate on the door if her attention is elsewhere. Practice short closed-door sessions during neutral moments, not just bathroom trips. If the closed door becomes less unusual, it becomes less alarming. The goal is to make separation from you feel normal rather than exceptional. And if her anxiety around closed doors is severe, persistent, distressed, affecting her general behavior, it may be worth speaking with a vet. Separation-related anxiety in cats is real, and there are behavioral approaches that can help significantly. For most cats, letting them in causes no problems at all. She'll come in, investigate, probably sit on the bath mat, and watch you with complete unself-consciousness, and then leave when she gets bored. Which is usually before you do. Some cats become more insistent over time if they're always let in, having learned that the behavior reliably works. But this is cat-specific, not universal. What's worth knowing is this: a cat who wants to be in the bathroom with you is, at a fundamental level, a cat who wants to be with you, who tracks your location, who notices when you disappear. That's not a problem to be solved. That's a bond expressing itself in the only way a cat knows how, by following you through every room, including the ones you'd rather keep to yourself. There's something worth sitting with here. Your cat, this small, self-sufficient, famously independent creature, cannot stand to be separated from you by a single closed door. Not because she's anxious, not because she's badly trained, but because somewhere in the years you've spent together, you became part of her world in a way that her nervous system now takes seriously. You are part of her territory, part of her safety, part of the background hum of her daily life that tells her everything is as it should be. And when that background hum disappears behind a closed door, even for 3 minutes, she notices. She misses it. She wants it back. The scratching and the meowing and the small paw under the door. That's not neediness. That's love, expressed in the only language a cat has. And honestly, you could do a lot worse than being loved like that. If this made you look at your bathroom shadow a little differently, share it with someone who has one of their own. And we'll see you in the next one.